Hello everybody, Darren here, and today we're going to take a look at the Total War Attila mod Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. Now this mod originally was developed for Total War Rome 2 all the way back in 2014. Back then it just had playable battles with a handful of factions, but now, 6 years later, the mod has a massive campaign with 58 playable factions, a completely unique Holy Roman Empire electoral and management screen, dynamic missions from the Pope that earn you papal favor, including large crusades that enable you to recruit unique Crusader units, class-based population, region trading, vassal annexation, Mongol invasions, and more. In this video I'll be talking through each of these mechanics and telling the story of my Sicilian campaign with King Federico. But first, this video is sponsored by Exter. Exter are having a Christmas sale. Exter designs smart, stylish, and trackable wallets. Their flagship model, the Parliament wallet, is slim and compact with an aluminium casing for your cards that is RFID protected, preventing identity theft and card skimming. The casing also provides quick access to your cards. At the press of a button, the cards fan out for you to take your pick and slot back into the wallet snugly. All of this is wrapped in premium quality leather that gives your wallet a unique look and feel as it ages. Exter's slim-fitting GPS tracker card can be placed in the wallet and paired with your phone. The tracker is solar-powered with a 2-hour charge lasting 2 months. The card lets you track its last location, call it through the app, or set it to alert you should you get too far away from it. Exter's entire product range, including wallets, key holders, laptop and phone cases, are all covered by the Christmas sale, which if you click the link in the description, you'll get a 25% discount on checkout or 35% on orders over $200. I highly recommend the Fortuna Parliament, Exter's limited edition premium wallet. It has exceptional quality leather and golden accents, which makes for a beautiful and thoughtful gift. For those who want as compact a wallet as possible, the Senate card holder is extremely neat and affordable. The sale lasts until December 26th, so don't delay. Remember to check the link in the description, and thank you to Exter. So, for my campaign, I started as the Kingdom of Sicily, just one of the 58 playable factions. Now, of course, not all of them are quite finished yet, but they are all playable with their own rosters and building chains. In future, Italian republics and Islamic factions are planned to have their own unique mechanics just to differentiate them a bit, and some extra events for flavor. So, starting off as the Kingdom of Sicily, we have 4 settlements already: Syracuse, Reggio, Taranto, and Naples, which I've definitely pronounced them all perfectly, so no need to write anything about that. Each settlement in the 1212 AD mod is its own standalone province. This means that every city has walls, and every city is treated as an individual. They all need their own recruitment, wealth, and food-producing buildings. Sanitation has adjacency to other provinces, so that isn't necessarily needed in each settlement, but I ended up building it in each one anyway. Now normally, you could only have 6 buildings in a settlement. It's sort of hard-coded to be that way by the UI, but in order to get around this, the mod team have made a custom script that, when enabled, runs an executable that forces more slots into the province. So you can actually have up to 10 buildings in a city. The only drawback to this is that when you close the game and then open it again, you have to press that button just to see your buildings. It's a small price to pay to overcome the limitations of the UI, and it's really impressive that they've gotten it working, and it's obviously save game compatible as well. On top of this, each city also has its own population. Similar to the system in Divide et Impera, 1212 AD has a class-based population that you use to recruit soldiers from. On the bottom left of the UI, you can hover over the population icon to get more information about it, and click it to cycle through different classes in more detail. As Sicily, there's the nobility, burghers, peasantry, tribesmen, and foreigners. Each of these classes grow at different rates determined by your buildings and how you've been recruiting. To get more nobility, for instance, you can build noble villas, and then you'd be able to recruit higher tier cavalry. Just like Divide et Impera, population is also used to reinforce your army, so if you run out of a certain class of population, certain units just won't replenish. It's slightly more gameable here, as generally there are more alliances and clients. You can often just replenish troops in allied territory to avoid using your own population. The larger your population grows in a city, the more dense it becomes, causing large squalor penalties in exchange for increased wealth overall. The main city chain will cap that population so as not to let things get out of control, and it'll allow you to carefully plan the expansion when you've got the technology in order to keep up with the squalor demands. Now, as it turns out, playing as Sicily in 1212 AD is quite interesting. One turn in, Federico was elected King of the Romans by a rebellious faction in the Holy Roman Empire, and with the backing of the Pope, you're given a dilemma to either press your claim and march to Frankfurt, or do nothing and see what comes later down the line. I chose to press my claims, becoming a pretender to the throne and declaring war on the Holy Roman Empire. I immediately set about crossing the Alps, paying the various factions I crossed for military access, using almost all of my starting capital just to get there. Now, during the march, Pope Innocent III proclaimed a new crusade to free the Holy Land from the Saracens at the Fourth Council of the Lateran, though the precise target was yet to be set. Not long after, the siege of Frankfurt began, and after a few months, the Holy Roman Emperor himself, Otto, arrived as a relief force for the city, and a battle ensued.
Enemy reinforcements approaching!
Ultimately, it was a Pyrrhic victory. I learned just how slow my infantry were at moving and how ridiculously overpowered the cavalry was. For me, I feel like battles in DEI are balanced much better. A reoccurring theme in the battles I fought in this campaign was that they're very, very fast, and cavalry especially is just quite devastating. Frontal charges into spears can just shatter entire units, and it makes the infantry feel quite pointless in open field battles. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Oh, but cavalry was important back then, blah blah blah, history, this and that. That's fine. They just have to raise the cost of cavalry then, because their price and their upkeep doesn't match their quality and power on the battlefield. Now, with Otto dead, before we'd even taken the town, Frankfurt immediately changed hands to Federico, and we became the new Holy Roman Empire. Our name changed. So as Emperor, we have special actions within this new Holy Roman Empire screen. First, we have the map on the left of the HRE's territories. Now, this is a bit of a weird system. There's always 23 settlements that are considered Holy Roman Empire territory. Factions that own these settlements can be part of the HRE or not. If they aren't part of it, they'll be listed in red, like Denmark to the north. If they are part of it, you can check their loyalty to you. The top 10 strongest factions in the HRE are electors, and based on their loyalty, they will vote for you to be the emperor. If they're not loyal, they may vote for someone else. If they're your vassal, they don't have loyalty, but they may also not get a vote. So during your lifetime as Emperor, getting your HRE factions loyal and securing votes is important, as it also allows you to pass laws and temporary decrees. Now there's 9 laws, and they each have to be passed one after the other, and they're like big milestones, such as passing a law that means those within the HRE cannot declare war on each other, or abolishing elections so that your children inherit the throne. The final law absorbs all territories into one unified HRE that you rule over, so it's a massive decision. In order to pass these laws, you need imperial authority, which is basically like a little currency that builds up over time, and it builds up faster the more territories you hold directly in the HRE. You also need loyal factions votes to be secured as well, so if you start waging war in all your member states, they're not going to help you vote your laws in. Alongside this, you can pass decrees, which are temporary buffs that are applied to both you and your member states. These also cost imperial authority, but they don't require votes. So for instance, you can promote commerce, giving yourself a negative 5% to trade tariffs, but a plus 10 to diplomacy with factions and 25% wealth from commerce within cities. The member states will get those nice benefits and they won't get the drawback. So that's basically how the Holy Roman Empire works. While it's really impressive how all of this is brought together and generally looks really fantastic with the map screen that's dynamic, I think it's not really working as intended. It's extremely easy to gain favor with other factions and have everyone be loyal. You're then going to amass this huge coalition of factions that makes you virtually unbeatable in the game. I think it needs more events where rebellions can occur or loyalty can waver, as it's just really easy. Also, the territory doesn't grow with you, it's always that 23 settlements, which is just a bit strange to me. I went to conquer Dijon to add it to the HRE, only found out afterwards that's not possible. Taking a quick step back, it sort of feels like the HRE is this giant coalition that allows you to expand pretty safely, and then after about 100 turns you can just absorb everyone anyways. Now like I said, this is all extremely impressive stuff, but I feel like Attila just isn't really capable of making this work in a good way. For instance, we were all at war with the Kingdom of Norway, who had settled in France, so I defeated and subjugated them, but all of my allies in the HRE were still at war with them, even though they were now my vassal. They were eventually killed by someone else because of that. And these are just some of the game limitations that just can't really cope with a complex diplomatic structure like the HRE. Hopefully I'm wrong and some things can be done to help address these kind of limitations. Now, not long after I took control of Frankfurt, I accepted the call to arms from the Pope for a crusade against Cairo. I had 20 turns to take the city or assist someone Catholic in taking it in order to gain a reward and gain papal favor. I moved my armies down towards Taranto and then I enabled my army for a crusade, and what this did was gave me a double movement bonus, a reduced upkeep cost, and a huge penalty to morale when fighting other Catholics. It also enabled the recruitment of Crusaders, which were free to recruit and also didn't require any population, but they did require upkeep. I levied Templar Sergeants and Knights, Hospitaller Sergeants and Knights, and some unique cavalry like Ritter Bruder and Sarient Bruder. I don't know how to pronounce it, and I don't care. I sailed down the Nile River and began to raid the countryside, waiting on other armies to arrive. After 5 or so turns, nobody else did arrive, so I got my siege underway, and after a few months of the siege, a garrison sallied forth and we fought our Crusader battle outside of Cairo.
This is a good day to live and make sure they die.
Again, in this battle, all I had left at the end was cavalry, as they racked up about 1,200 kills, and missiles doing a bulk of the damage as well. So we succeeded in taking Cairo and fulfilling the crusade, which gave us another dilemma. We could either give the territories over to the Kingdom of Jerusalem and Cyprus in exchange for 20,000 gold, or we could push towards Jerusalem itself and take the territory and keep it for ourselves later on. As my army was battered and I was surrounded by enemies, I decided to comply and take the cash, leaving Cairo to the Kingdom of Jerusalem and Cyprus, and heading back to Frankfurt with my new Crusader units that I got to keep. And as the crusade had finished, their Catholic debuff was no longer active. I was able to use some of my papal favor for extra cash, and the rest of the papal favor was then giving me public order benefits from the presence of Catholicism in my towns. So we were essentially now rich, and our towns were very happy. Working the diplomacy a bit, I managed to get some vassals. I mean, it helped that we had a huge injection of cash after the crusade. And then with the new mechanic, if you wait 20 turns, you can actually then absorb your vassal. The annexation process takes 3 turns to do, and you have this tax debuff while you're doing it, which is awesome. It's something I've been wanting in Total War games for a really long time. There's also region trading, but without provinces, I actually never really saw a reason to do it. So that's really it for my first look at the mod. As of right now, my main feedback is that it's just really easy currently, and battles are just a bit too fast for me on a personal note. I love what they've done with the Crusades, and I love the Holy Roman Empire stuff. It's extremely impressive what they've done with scripting. But I worry that the AI just doesn't seem to really be participating in either of them. Something I'm not a fan of is the removal of the province system. I think building within a province is better than individual towns, as you can end up just building the same over and over. As well as that, I don't like that every city has walls, because it's essentially removed a whole battle type. I like unwalled settlement battles. I think they're really fun. That's been removed from this mod, as every settlement is now a walled siege. That gets repetitive. This is basically what Total War Warhammer has done, and I guess people are okay with it, but personally, I like having more battle types, and some of my favorite battles have been unwalled sieges, especially when combined with navies. Naval battles currently are not present, but they are being worked on apparently with some promising results, so that's good to hear as well. Now, it's worth remembering, this is a mod. People have worked very hard on it on their own free time for a very, very long time, and I think it has some of the most impressive features I've ever seen. Some of this stuff really is DLC quality features and mechanics, and they are currently saying the mod is a playable alpha right now, so I'm sure things will get even better. If you want me to cover the mod more in depth in the coming weeks, let me know. This was just a bit of a quick first impressions for me playing a short campaign. Please do let me know with a comment or a like on the video, and as always, if the video does well, I'll be back with another as quick as I can. Also, if you have a faction recommendation, feel free to let me know who you played as and think would be an interesting choice. I did get a message about the Mongols arriving, but I didn't get to see them or know if they're fully implemented yet, so I do plan on going back sometime soon to play around a little bit more. Anyway guys, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support this series directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. If you don't see the join button, it means the video has been copyright claimed, but you can still join from the channel page on desktop. You can also link your account to our Discord to get a special role on there that will give you access to the Senate House and a few other perks.